Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today marks the start of National Heritage Week, and throughout the period we'll be paying homage to our men and women who showed courage in the face of adversity. We kickstart our celebrations right here at the National Heroes Park, the burial site of Jamaica's heroes, prime ministers and cultural icons. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, so stay tuned as the magazine unfolds.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
The Jamaica National Heritage Trust on 79 Duke Street in Kingston is symbolic to our country. It was within those walls that men like Alexander Bustamante and Norman Washington Manley advocated for our independence. Take a look.
The Jamaica National Heritage Trust is more than just a building that houses artifacts. It's a symbol of our post- and pre-independence period. Also known as Headquarters House, the JNHT is just one of many buildings that tell the story of our rich history. It got the name because it was once the military headquarters of the War Office in 1814. The building was constructed in 1755 and was home of Thomas Hibbert. On November 12 that same year, the Legislative Assembly met there while Hibbert was acting as Speaker. It later became the seat of government and the office of the Colonial Secretariat from 1872 to 1960.
The government of the day in 1872 decided to move the capital from Spanish Town into Kingston. This became the center of governance. This is where the Legislative Council used to sit. And after 1944, this is where the beginning of governments by the Jamaican people, elected through universal adult suffrage, became the seat of governance. After 1944, we had a number of other constitutions which led us to self-government and ultimately to independence in 1962. So it was in this room that Bustamante and Manley and other great luminaries of the legislative period of governance from 1944 used to persuade their party members to vote in their favor. And as a result of a combined effort, we agreed to become independent, and we negotiated with Britain for the purposes of independence on June the 6th, 1962.
The size of the chamber would suggest that the number of government officials were few.
As a result of independence in 1962, the government also decided that they needed a new building to hold a larger parliament, and that's why Gordon House was created next door. So that's the joining relationship between this Legislative Council building, which is now the headquarters of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, and Gordon House next door, in which our parliament sits. It's a very exciting corner of Jamaica, a very exciting corner of Kingston. And of course, the political parties today, when they march to Gordon House, one party moves from Headquarters House, as it is still known as, and the other party moves from the northern side of Duke Street and comes together in the Parliament. The cabinet room, or the room in which the government ministers sat, is upstairs, is in fact the boardroom of the trustees of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. Today, the building is used for a variety of different purposes, which include the storage of artifacts, as well as the various departments of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. So it continues to be a very important building of history and heritage for our people. The fact that it was built in 1755 means that over these last 250 plus years, it has been subject to all sorts of natural disasters, including a fire next door which nearly took it down. So hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, and other natural disasters, this building has been able to survive them all.
Did you know that it was from this building on October 12, 1865, that Governor Edward John Eyre planned his attack against the St. Thomas freedom fighters? He declared martial law from this house on Friday, October 13. And it was also here that the Right Excellent George William Gordon was arrested in 1865 and taken to Murat Bay, where he was executed.
The Right Excellent Paul Bogle received the honor of National Hero in 1969 for his contribution in 1865, which led to changes in the social and economic conditions of the people in St. Thomas and the wider Jamaica. Do you know what happened in 1865?
Born in Stony Gut, St. Thomas in the 1820s, he suffered as a slave. He toiled in the hot sun working and praying for the day he could say, "Yes, freedom come." And when that day came, the day he was free, the plan of becoming fully independent was his next feat. One he accomplished, small farmer, then landowner, to being one of 106 persons on the voters list, he was well on his way. So much so, he became a Baptist deacon in the village, a true Jamaican activist, angered by the injustices and oppression faced by the people in St. Thomas by one Governor Edward Eyre. So, he gathered his people and marched onward they did, left, right, on October 11, 1865, the day of the Morant Bay Rebellion. Over 500 people died, but not in vain. That special day spurred changes in the social and economic conditions of people not only in St. Thomas, but the entire Jamaica. The Right Excellent Paul Bogle, the man who lived and died for his people on October 24, 1865. A man of honor, a man of truth, our national hero.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Words from our national anthem, a prayer for our nation.
Was he listening, do you think, Eternal Father? Those were the words to replace God Save the Queen on August 6, 1962, but it almost never was. History says the begetting of a new anthem was filled with all the drama of any blockbuster production, real-life drama for the song that would sum up the hopes and aspirations of a new nation. It was June 21, 1962. Then Leader of the House, Donald Sangster, asked his fellow parliamentarians to give their opinions on the proposed anthem for independent Jamaica.
The search for a new national anthem for Jamaica began before the elections were held in April 1962, when the Premier, Norman Manley at the time, he established a joint parliamentary committee to look for national symbols, new national symbols. There was a competition launched for the national anthem, for ideas for the national anthem. A national competition launched, and I'm not sure how many entries were received, but I know that the top 12 entries were selected and then sent to the parliamentary committee, and they in turn selected the top 4, the 4 most suitable ones that they thought would do the trick. Time was running out, however. April, May, June, a new government appointed in April, and independence rapidly approaching August 6, the date had been set. In June 21, Parliament returned, and on the agenda was the debate for the approval for the new national anthem.
A long and vigorous debate followed.
I could never listen to what I heard.
What we heard this afternoon is obviously something.
Is there any harm, for instance, in using one of Tom Red
If this is our last chance, then I'm prepared.
When this matter came before the House, members were asked to listen outside the lobby
rendition by the band of both proposals put to us.
If anyone in that sitting of the Parliament was passionately in favour of the anthem as it was presented then, well, that person never got up to say so. Some forcefully rejected it.
I could never listen to what I heard this afternoon and call it a national anthem. It was not even sounding like a Sankey song.
Others were a little less harsh, but equally unimpressed.
What we heard this afternoon is obviously something which has been based on a hymn and certainly does not stir anything in me whatsoever.
The work of a patriotic poet might be the way to go, at least one suggested.
Is there any harm, for instance, in using one of Tom Redcon's beautiful songs on Jamaica?
A few were willing to accept it temporarily, seeing as August 6 loomed so near.
If this is our last chance, then I'm prepared to accept what we heard here tonight as our national anthem. Because when August 6 comes, I do not intend to stand for any other national anthem of this country.
The Premier had another suggestion.
I have a lovely piano at home, and I'm inviting all the members of this house. My veranda will hold everyone to come, and I will let them hear an anthem. I will have an anthem which you will all like.
Well, everybody knows that Bustamante was a great host, and we can imagine the lavish party that took place at Tucker Avenue that night. They went and they played the different selections that they had before them of the national anthem. Buster did a lot of teasing, no doubt, but there was a great friendliness about the evening, and they sang the anthem. I believe Robert Lightburn was one of the people who played the piano for them. He was a musician. And at the end of it, they hadn't really selected an anthem, but they seemed to have got more comfortable and familiar with this first one that they had been looking at.
La la da dee, la la da dee da dam, dee la 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 la.
Someone summoned a parliamentary meeting, but an informal meeting on June 27, a week later, to look at another anthem which had was being discussed. Now, this anthem was written by Ted Wade, an Englishman, who was also the head of the Jamaica military band at the time. That one seized the imagination of this informal gathering of Parliament, and it was decided, therefore, that they would select that and proclaim it as a new national anthem. But that one didn't last too long because popular sentiment was against the idea that an Englishman had written our national anthem. The leader of the opposition, Norman Manley, also complained that the procedure which took the matter out of the formal runnings of the House and into an informal session was totally irregular and very unfortunate.
It's now July 19, and independence is less than 3 weeks away.
The House met again to review their decision.
Jamaica, Jamaica.
And he tried to get the words of Father Sherlock to go with the music from Mr. Lightburn. They just could not meet, as they say. And so Mr. Poole went about composing his own tune to fit the words of Father Sherlock. Because it was submitted by Mr. Poole as a piano score, and that would not do. to give any true meaning to what an anthem should sound like. So I took the piano score and I arranged the music for the full military band. Basically, an arrangement is distributing the parts of the music to different instruments. And that's exactly what I did.
By this time, the parliamentarians had a chance to hear the competing anthems performed with equal skill by the Jamaica Military Band.
When this matter came before the House, members were asked to listen outside the lobby to a tape recording of a rather poor version of a musical setting and the words.
I think that having heard the rendition by the band of both proposals put to us, I feel that the one which is now proposed can bring out a greater amount of national emotion.
I do believe that the best has been selected.
So, divine providence, or democracy and procedural due diligence in action? Do we love it because it's our own, or did it become our own because we loved it? Maybe it's as Edward Seaga remarked at the time, the result in the final analysis of what has happened is exactly what should have happened.
Our national anthem has 20 bars of music. And the first 8 bars were composed by Mr. Poole. And the 4 bars following those 8 bars are the bars composed and taken from Mr. Lightburn's music. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Blah da dee da blah da dee da dam, dee da 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 dam.
Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
24 days to go before the mandatory 10-digit dialing takes effect. If you're still not clear on what to do, check this out.
Jamaica's 876 area code was created in 1996 during a split from our original area code, 809. The 876 area code currently serves the country's 2 mobile operators, Flow and Digicel. But in August 2017, a new area code, 658, was implemented, prompting the country to start using 10-digit dialing. The Office of Utilities Regulations is the agency mandated by the government to assign numbers to our telecom providers and other entities.
So the OUR projected that we will be running out of numbers in another few years under the 876 area code. And in order to mitigate against that, we would have to get another area code, which would provide millions more numbers into the local system for us to use. We're not going to use it yet, because we are projecting again that in another 18 months to 24 months, the numbers under 876 area code will be totally exhausted. So in another few years, then you'll see the 658 area code being used. So when we talk about 10-digit dialing right now, we're talking about the 876 area code, because that's the only one that's really in use now. So it's 876 and the number you're wishing to dial.
To ensure everyone fully grasps the concept of 10-digit dialing, a permissive period from May 31 to October 30, 2018 is now in effect.
We're saying to Jamaicans, get used to dialing 10 digits in anticipation of when new numbers come under the 658. And 10-digit dialing is important because we want persons to start to change their behavior. So if it is that you take up your phone and you dial 7 digits for the person you wish to dial or call, 968-6053, you will get a recording from any of the telephone service providers. There's a standard recording that you'll hear. The voices may differ, but the message will be standard, approved by the OUR, reminding you that you are really to dial 10 digits, but your call will be put through.
10-digit dialing is now in effect for all local calls. Please remember to dial the area code 876 before the 7-digit number you are calling.
After October 30, if it is that you still are dialing 7 digits only, you're going to get a different kind of recording asking you now to hang up and dial 10 digits. So the 5 months is to get you into it. What does it mean for customers? It means that we'll have to manually dial 10 digits. Not only that, in our telephones, we have to ensure that we have numbers in our phones that include the 876 number, the area code. Some persons who have non-smartphones will have to manually update their phones to include that 876 number in all of their contacts. However, for smartphone users, we have been told that there are apps on the Android Play Store or in the iPhone.
Those persons who will be using apps on the Apple and Android stores to update their apps, you are being warned to read the instructions carefully.
Persons and companies really need to sensitize their staff as to what it is about and if they need to make any changes to their telephone systems and even their personal systems, their phones and so on.
Jamaicans are mixed on their responses to the new system.
To be honest, a lot of people out there, I don't think they're ready. They're not prepared. I guess they need more understanding of it.
I never heard about it, but I thank you that you are telling me about it now. I'll try and find out some more about that, like research on the internet.
You have to get changes. Like you have to get changes. So you're not ready. But it not come till next year. So probably we're going to get used to it.
I think we're ready, you know. We're ready for the changes. But based on the amount of numbers that in circulation at present, you find that at some point in time we're going to run out.
I don't know what to feel about it because this one we have has been working good. So I don't know what is the change for and what it's about, and I don't even remember the new code.
I think it's a thing that will be hard for the elderly, not for the young people, but for the elderly, because sometimes they can't even remember the 7 digits, but to remember 10 nowadays, and it's going to be very hard.
Well, I don't really have no problem with it because we already done used to dialing numbers, so 876 is our code, so nothing wrong with adding it into the number where we are dialing.
Change is good and I'm ready. I've changed over all my numbers to the 10-digit codes that they say that you need to do, so I think I'm ready.
Mixed emotions from more citizens, but the Office of Utilities Regulations will be continuing its sensitization meetings across the island to ensure more Jamaicans are informed.
It's Cyber Awareness Month and you're being reminded to protect yourself while using the internet, whether it be using social media sites or shopping online. Think before you click.
Choose strong passwords. A lot of us reuse our password and we use easy what we call soft passwords. You know, the name of your child, your date of birth. We encourage consumers to choose passwords that are complex, include characters, numbers, and symbols in your password, and no less than 8 characters. The other precaution is to control access to your machine. That includes don't leave your device open on the table. So your smartphone or your computer, lock the screen. Very important because somebody can easily access your data that way. The other precaution is to protect your sensitive data. So identity theft is real, and it's pretty easy for an actor with criminal intent to get your private, to create an identity of you. So they can go on your Facebook page or your LinkedIn or any social media site and grab your information, your name and other information, and create a profile of you in a different scenario. In some cases, they can actually go in other jurisdictions, they can use the social security number and actually apply for bank accounts and other services, financial services. So identity theft is real and it affects us all. So the advice is to try and limit the amount of information you put out there in social media. Social media is important. It keeps you in touch with friends and family you haven't seen for years, and you have a big geographical distance between them, but it also exposes you. So keep your private information offline. In regards to online shopping, utilize the services of a legitimate and well-known and well-established website. Some of these more well-established websites may not necessarily carry the product or the service that you're looking for, but you do have websites out there that they may be running a legitimate organization, but their security precautions that they take in their back-end system is not sufficient. It not necessarily means that you can't shop with them, but or they might not deliver your product, but the level of trust that you have in them might not necessarily be what it should be. But online shopping, there's a service called Better Business Bureau, which a lot of these websites utilize now. And what they do is the Better Business Bureau will evaluate the website and organization for the level of legitimacy, the care that they take in protecting shoppers' data, and they will give them a rating. Their rating system is also based on the number of complaints that consumers logged with the Better Business Bureau. So so websites that are highly rated by the Better Business Bureau will have a tag on them, BBB. You may have seen that before. So that's a good way of evaluating a particular website if you choose to shop with them. Protect your credit card information, especially online. Don't just plug it in any website. And remember to log out of websites after you finish using them.
In the past, we would simply, go into a bank and we would sign mountains of documents to purchase a house or even a car. Now there are opportunities for you to use digital signatures where you can do these transactions online, which now makes it even more challenging to police, because how do we know that you are the actual individual online that is adding a signature to a particular contract or an agreement? So it is very important for consumers to understand and to have a better education on protecting ourselves in these regards.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow and we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm and follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course this Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website, gis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.